Welcome to the Business Hour. This is the Business Hour on VOP TV. My name is Frank Fagbo. We're rushing off because we've got a lot of stories for you joining us now at this point in time in the Nigerian business world. But if there's something I'm really going to tell you, is the fact that in business, life really goes on. Beyond emotions, we've seen how business, as long as it has structures and systems, it's a lifeblood on its own, and it's not emotionally attached to one person. That is what is happening in the Nigerian banking sector. Just barely a day after the entire incident, barely a weekend after the entire incident regarding the demise of Mr. Herbert Wigwe, we now have seen that Access Holding has appointed an acting CEO after the death of Herbert Wigwe. This is to tell you one fundamental issue in the business world is that life really goes on. And if there's anything you need to understand from this story, is also understanding the fact that system and structures is the lifeblood of any business. And if you can build the right system and build the right structure, then it's definitely going to be easy for your legacy to continue its life after you leave the face of this earth. And we can see that from Access Holding. A lot of investors are also mourning the death of Herbert Wigwe. And this is literally coming from data. What do I mean by that? Coming from data, what is really happening in the capital market? We can see that the price of the shares of Access Bank dipped by nothing less than 6% from yesterday. Yesterday when the market opened, and we can see that it's really because of the fact that a lot of investors and shareholders are mourning the death of Mr. Herbert Wigwe. My condolences to the family and to the entire First Bank, Access Bank Holding Limited. So all this conversation is what we are having in the business hour. Moving on to some other top stories that we have from the business hour. Number one, the IMF has forecasted nothing less than forecasted a decline in Nigeria's foreign reserve. And that's to tell you that we are going to experience a decline. It's coming from IMF. IMF predicts our foreign reserves to drop by $24 billion in 2024. These are the conversations we're having. Foreign reserve. Meaning, I'm going to explain it to you in details. What this means is our foreign reserve is that the asset we have as a nation that is pegged against the dollar. The dollar is the world reserve currency. And as the dollar is the world reserve currency, it is what you are. It's more or less like you saving in gold as a family, or you saving in some other currency that is alien to your fundamental currency that you use in running your personal economy. So that's what is really happening. That's what our foreign reserves mean, meaning that we have savings, but those savings are pegged against the dollar, pegged against global currencies, and that is what we're seeing. But IMF, International Monetary Fund, has come out to say that they are predicting. It's more or less like a prediction. It just be like, say, person close eye, they tell you some prophecy. That's what IMF is telling us at this point in time. Telling us that there's going to be a decline in Nigeria's foreign reserve. And the decline is going to drop to the tune of $24 billion by 2024. This is a huge conversation. And when someone who has their skin in the game of financial, in the financial sector tells you something like this, then I think it's best in the country's interest to be able to prepare for such, to have steeper measures and to make sure we have a cushioning effect to this, based on this data and based on what IMF they tell us at this point in time. That's why I always come out to say that we need to make hay when the sun shines. If we don't make hay when the sun shines, it's really going to be difficult for us to be able to save for rainy days. If we, in the days of plenty, if we can't save and make sure we protect our common interest, we protect our economy for the days of less, it's definitely going to be difficult. So $24 billion, that's what IMF has come out to say. And we should have some of all these conversations in ways. Remember that the government had to go back to its ban, just like the days of Joseph in the Holy Books, where he predicted that the king should make sure he saves for the 7 years of famine that is going to happen. Those 7 years of famine, what he saved over the years is what he's going to use to protect the economy. And remember that the president himself, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he did something similar as regards in the agri sector, where he had to make sure he opened the savings of some of our commodities, agro-allied commodities, and pushed it into the market to have a cushioning effect on this price hike in some agro-allied commodities. These are some of the conversations we're talking about on the Business Hour. If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Business Hour on VOP TV. What is really happening in the Nigerian business terrain? One major thing regarding coming from the Auditor General of the Federation is reports on unapproved foreign trips by NDAs. So the Auditor General of the Federation has come out and said that based on his reports, he's revealed that nothing less than 728 million naira was spent in unapproved foreign trips by some ministries, some departments, and some agencies, the MDAs in general. These are conversations we should be having. In the days of penury, in the days of looking for, in the days of economic crunch, I see no reason why we should have loopholes. Loopholes to the tune of 728 million naira, unapproved foreign trips. No. These are the conversations we should be having as a government. What happened to 728 million naira? None of those trips were approved. It's just similar to what we experienced sometime last month, where we had a particular minister who was suspended, had a particular budget for foreign trip, flight, not even foreign trip. This time around, it was even a local trip to Kogi State with an entourage, and she said she took, she boarded a flight to Kogi State without Kogi State having an airport. So these are the conversations we should be having. We should checkmate all of the loopholes, block those loopholes, because if we don't block those loopholes as a people, then it's definitely going to be difficult for us to increase our earning power. If we increase our earning power, and we have these loopholes, we don't block these loopholes, it's more or less like you putting on the tap into a basket. It's definitely going to be going down the drain. And that's what we're experiencing. And this is raising concerns about our fiscal discipline and accountability. If we can't fix our fiscal discipline and be accountable to the Nigerian people or to Nigerians, then it's something that is questionable. It's something that we need to checkmate. It's something that we demand answers. It underscores the need for stronger oversight mechanisms. We need mechanisms to make sure we checkmate some of all these imbalances. Imagine using 728 million naira to build what? Classrooms or equip hospitals. Imagine what that is going to do for the economy. So these unapproved trips represent missed opportunities to invest in our communities. If we look at it, let's hold our institutions accountable for responsible spending of public funds. We should hold our institutions responsible, from ministries, from the departments, from the agencies. And as a matter of fact, charity really begins at home. You can't tell me as a father in the house, you tell me there's no money to pay. You tell your child you don't have money to pay his school fees or her school fees. And every evening you're going to the bar to have 1 or 2 bottles. How irresponsible of a dad would that person be? And that's what is happening to the Nigerian government. If we have the presidency, or we have from people at the helm of affairs having irresponsible fiscal irresponsible fiscal attitude to our commonwealth, what do you expect from ministries? What do you expect from departments? What do you expect from agencies? Let alone local governments. So these are the conversations. It goes beyond having a press conference. It goes beyond putting in policy. It's actually your government being accountable. And apart from the fact that the government being accountable, it's also making people a scapegoat. If we have scapegoats of people who have in one way or the other misappropriated public funds, bringing them to books. If we have all these things in the Nigerian government, then it's definitely going to be easy for us to be able to block the common loopholes that we experience from the side of the government. These are the conversations. If you're just joining us, this is the Business Hour on VOP TV. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back on a short break. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at what Amazon has secured. What is the exclusive right that they secured to stream a particular game? We're going to find out more about these stories and some other stories coming in from the global stage. This is the Business Hour. Don't go anywhere.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
This is the Business Hour on VOP TV. Amazon just secured an exclusive streaming right for NFL playoff game. Now, what this means is the future of media is like literally transforming right before our very eyes, and in my own very before, like my people always say. But this is what is happening. We see that a lot of these giants, these tech giants, are really disrupting what we know as media. So NFL just sold their rights, streaming rights to Amazon. And that streaming right means that you can watch the NFL playoff games on perhaps Amazon Prime. That's definitely what it's going to be, what it is. You can watch it on Amazon Prime, the video streaming platform. And when you watch it on Amazon Prime, you get access, as long as you subscribe, you get access to streamline some of all these things. Are we literally getting to that part of media where we'll be able to watch some of our amazing Premier League matches, some of the biggest sports events, and watch them, stream them from our global streaming giants? That is what the future of media is telling us at this point in time. Meaning, as you're watching VOP TV, you're watching the Business Hour on VOP TV, you can literally, rather than having to make sure that you meet up with 10 a.m., because we always start by 10 a.m., but literally having to, instead of waiting to make sure you meet up with 10 a.m., media has really gone beyond scheduling. And this time around, you can literally live stream VOP TV on the go. These are the conversations. This is what is happening. This is the disruption that is happening in the media sector. And we can see Amazon, also a big player in the space, also disrupting the media industry by getting the rights to be able to streamline NFL playoff games. Let's see what is really going to happen in the likes of Nigeria. Let's see whether the likes of, we've got a couple of streaming giants in this part of the world. We've got the likes of DSTV. We also have the likes of Eurocode TV. Let's see what they are going to do as regards transforming the sports industry in Nigeria. Because if we take a look at, remember a couple of days back, yesterday, I brought a guest that we had a conversation around the business of sport. And sport is literally a big deal. Sport is a big deal. Beyond the entertainment, the business behind sport is massive. And if you have the business behind sport being massive, a lot of investors are beginning to take a look at what the sports industry has to offer, especially in this part of the world, knowing fully well that we shattered glass ceiling. We broke records as regards the AFCON 2023. The AFCON 2023 that we just rounded off on Sunday. We see that all the records were broken regarding viewership, regarding media partnership, and all whatnot. The business side of the AFCON was literally broken as regards. It was a record-breaking event, and a lot of investors are looking at, oh, if we could invest $70 million and we got a return on our investment, then we're going to take it up a bit. We're going to take it a bit higher during the next event. So that's to tell you that the world of sports is massive, and media giants, the likes of Amazon, the likes of Netflix, the likes of Iroko TV, DSTV, a lot of these companies are beginning to see how they can disrupt the sports industry using streaming. That's what is really happening. Those are the conversations we have on the business hour. Moving on to what is happening as regards Nigeria, our exchange rate. Our exchange rate has hit record low, all-time low. And this is against the backdrop of CBN's policies. Naira has fallen to a historic low of 1,534. 1,534 Naira to $1. Definitely, you're going to find out more about this, because when I move to my favorite part of the show, which is the screens, you're going to see what is happening in the market, what is really happening in the market. And also going to tell you that you don't need to go anywhere, because if you go anywhere, you're going to miss out on what is happening in the crypto market. It's been a massive gain, been a massive bullish season for a lot of investors in the crypto market. For those who had invested in a couple of assets some days back, they've really reached an all-time high in like a year. That's a massive number if you ask me. But for now, we're looking at what is really happening to the Nigerian Naira against the dollar. Official rates hitting record low. It's never been this low. Burna Boy sang on the low. I remember that song. Was he really referring to the Naira when he sang that song? The Naira really took it personal. I guess they had that song on repeat. People at the helm of affairs. So should we do a remix and find a way to make sure we take it a bit higher? So maybe we have to call Burna Boy to come into fair or do a remix of that song, because it's really pathetic. A lot of things hitting the Nigerian financial world. Based on what was seen, the FX debacle is worrisome. 1,534 Naira. And you're saying that a lot of importers and exporters should put a peg on their price. Who's going to do that? It's not possible. The market would obviously, the business or the businessman, the entrepreneur in the economy would always respond to the market. Nobody is coming to the market to sell at a loss. Except you're a philanthropist. So the CBN, CBN interventions has failed. A lot of the interventions has failed. And this is raising concerns about inflation and also household budgets. We need to have these conversations. Not all the time we're patting those at the helm of affairs. We're giving them a pat in the back for doing literally nothing. Because if you're really doing something, we should be experiencing it in the market. These are the conversations. Not just we cushioning the effect of the Naira by pumping in more dollars. No, address the fundamental issues. We can't really address the issues of the Naira, of the FX crisis, from a monetary policy point of view. You can't be at the helm of affairs at the apex regulatory body, which is CBN, and you think that the market is going to respond to some of your policies. Come in, feel the pain of the people. Give more incentives to the manufacturing sector. Give more incentives to a lot of homegrown, locally made foods or locally made products. Build the manufacturing sector. Invest heavily in the manufacturing sector and see how it's just going to be a part of the bargain. Naira is just going to fall like a pack of cards. It's going to be easy peasy. It's not all this knee-jerk approach that we're having towards the FX crisis that we're currently experiencing. The value of the Naira is directly impacts the cost of everyday goods, no matter how you look at it. Because the woman who is selling Gary in the market will tell you that she read in the news that we started importing Gary from China. That's how low we've gone. That's how low we've gone. So it's really pathetic. Our fertilizers that we use, many of them are being imported. So if we look at all these issues, we see how fundamental it is. Even the food inflation that we're experiencing, which is currently at 33.93%, insecurity is really ravaging that sector, the agri sector. And why would the prices of foods and why would the prices of agro-allied products not skyrocket? That's what we're talking about. The man in the streets is asking questions. We're at an all-time high as regards suffering. Nigerians have never had it this bad. The economy has never been this depleted. And if we can experience this, then it calls for an emergency, an economic emergency. Not just sitting at the helm of affairs or sitting in the headquarters of CBN and delivering some monetary policies every fortnight. No. It calls for, Nigeria is currently at the brink of economic collapse. It's not even at the brink. We've literally collapsed. The economy is collapsing right before our very own eyes. So these are the conversations we should be having. No, I think we're going to move on to some other stories coming in from CBN. And this time around, CBN has issued a mandate on some of the banks that they should make sure that before the debt recovery, they tell the customers, before embarking on any debt recovery, they should tell the customers. So the banks must now provide clear notice before debt collection, meaning that if you're owing the bank can't just, at the end of your tenure, they call it moratorium, when your tenure to pay back the loan has elapsed, then the bank just suddenly takes some drastic approach to confiscate your properties or your collateral. No, you guys have to meet in the middle. And that's what the CBN is saying. That right now, at this point in time, a lot of people, a lot of business persons are not even able to fund their loans. They're not even able to balance their sheets. And so if the entrepreneurs that you think are even making more money because of their price hike, which the reverse is literally the case, because they will tell you that at the time when dollar to the naira was 300, we never even knew that those were good old days. It's so funny. We never knew that those were good old days. So at the time that dollar was sitting at 300 level, and we were saying that, oh my goodness, dollar is at an all-time high. The entrepreneurs at that point in time were saying that they were making much more profit than even now when dollar is 1,500 and their price hike is to the tune of 100% or 200% sometimes. So it's really, really a pathetic situation as regards the Nigerian economic landscape. These are many more of the conversations we're going to take a look at when we come back on this short break. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Business Hour. Don't go anywhere because we've got you covered as regards the Nigerian business landscape. I'll see you soon.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome to the Business Hour on VOP TV. When you hear the name macaroni, just too funny, or you hear the name brain jotter, what comes to mind? Content creation, right? Obviously, these are guys who've been able to have their names in the sands of time as regards content creation. Phenomenal job they've been doing in the world of content creation and in the world as creative. They've been doing an exceptional job, especially one of the guys, I would love to call him New Cat, Lai Wasabi, doing an amazing job in the world of content creation. But this time around, beyond their craft, the Nigerian government is beginning to take a look at these guys. What are these guys churning into the Nigerian economy? They're churning in some massive percentage into the Nigerian GDP. But when you're churning in some cash and you're churning in some creative ingenuity as regards your craft, the government will begin, you're taking the spotlight, and the government will begin to take a look at you. And that is what is really coming in from Federal Inland Revenue Service. And they cut eye for these guys. They're like, you will soon be our side chick. That's what they are telling the content creators as regards tax. They're telling them that they're definitely going to be paying taxes. And they are saying that for now, they don't have plans to tax online content creators and skit makers. But they are still building the foundation and the solid framework to enact taxes or to bring about the ways they are going to tax these guys. Because one way or the other, once you go to some of all these blogs, you will see breaking news. This guy just acquired some property in the heart of Lekki, some property in the heart of Ikoyi. This guy just bought a Range Rover. This guy just bought this. All this conversation is really attracting who? FIRS. It's just like when you put a cube of sugar on this table. I don't need to put up a billboard for ants. They will definitely find a way to come here. And when you put up all those conversations around your acquisition, you making different acquisitions in the Nigerian economy, buying the latest Range Rover or buying a G-Wagon, definitely your brothers are going to be coming closer to you, and your brothers in the government, like from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, they're definitely going to be coming close. But they have come out to say that for now, emphasis on the word for now. They're saying for now. We know they look on our face for now, but we're planning, we're cooking. They're currently cooking. And so when they are done preparing the meal, as a content creator, you better decide how you're going to make sure you consume it. Whether it's a 4-course meal, or you're going to start with starters, or whatever it is the case may be, make sure you consume that meal. That is what the Federal Inland Revenue Service has come out to say. That for now, no plans to tax online content creators and skit makers. But we're building a solid framework. And when we're done building that framework, when we're done cooking in what we want to cook in the kitchen, definitely we're going to come in for you guys. And this is what happens in any emerging economy. Just like an emerging economy like that of the creatives. The creative sector used to just be restricted to what we love to call musicians, actors, actresses, and maybe comedians. But this time around, we've gotten a niche, and this niche are content creators, trailblazers in the world of content creation. And FIRS is literally coming for you guys. You heard it here first. So prepare. Make sure all your earnings are documented, so that at least in one way or the other, you're going to be in, and you know, these are the underlying factors. So that in one way or the other, you're going to find yourself paying taxes, because it's the right of the government to be able to ask for your taxes. And these are the underlying issues. I think that we, as content creators, if you're watching me, you're a content creator or you're creative in the creative space, I think you need to understand this fundamental issue. If you think that you want to boycott paying taxes, then brands are not going to be coming for you. Brands, obviously established brands, we want to deal with entities and vendors who pay taxes, because you're going to be putting them at risk. And if you don't have your tax clearance or your tax certificate from FIRS, then some brands will start telling you that you can't deal with us or we can't deal with you. And it's definitely going to have an impact on your brand. These are the conversations on the business on the business hour. Moving on to some other stories that we have coming in from what Lagos State government has said. Lagos State government has intensified crackdown on Okada operations along expressways. So Lagos State government has literally banned Okadas a dime a dozen times. So you know how you place a ban on something and you come back and place a ban. What happened to the previous ban? So this time, they are saying they're going to intensify crackdown on Okada operation along expressways. And major expressways are along the likes of Badagry, Mautu Expressway, and some of all these expressway that we have Okada riders still trying to find a way to boycott some of all these policies that the Lagos State government has put in place. Now, they are saying that they're going to make sure that they enforce the implementation of the Okada ban policy that was put in place some year ago. I think a year ago that this was put in place. And what this aims to do is to improve public safety and enforce traffic regulations. That's what the government has come out to say. That's what the Lagos State government has come out to say. And they are targeting Okada activities on restricted routes and highways. So there are some routes that are restricted. And what they are saying is that we all want safe and orderly roads. And so the Lagos State task force has put up an action to address concerns about reckless Okada operations, especially on expressways. And it's a reminder to prioritize safety, to make sure, okay, safety is prioritized, and respect traffic rules for everyone's well-being. And I'll give you a classic example. At a point pre-Okada ban, we had reports and data from Igbobi that vast majority of E&A, emergency treatment that has been brought to that hospital, vast majority of them come from accident footages or accident within the community of the Okada sector. That is what really happens. And so if we look at what is happening, we'll see that data is really, numbers don't lie. If we have the data, we can see that most accidents that happens in Lagos before Okada ban was really literally caused by a lot of Okada riders, because a lot of them, they don't meet industry standard as regards safety. No safety measures put in place as regards their operations. They flout highway rules, traffic rules, and thereby causes a lot of accidents in the Lagos State economy. So that's why they are saying that they are literally placing a ban. They've placed the ban before, but they are enforcing it at this point in time. So if you're watching me and you're an Okada rider, or you thrive in the Okada economy, then I'm going to tell you that make sure you stay safe, because the government is coming for you. Restrict your operations to where you are licensed and legally, and to where you are licensed to operate. If you don't restrict your operations to where you are licensed to operate, then you're definitely going to be calling the wrath of the government. Moving on to what is coming in from CBN. CBN has instructed banks to notify customers before debt recovery moves. So they've notified banks, they've to instruct their customers that if you're trying to recover debt from your customers, make sure you notify them officially. Before you sell properties of some of your customers, before you sell properties of those who have bad loans, make sure you inform them. Don't just do that. Don't just have a knee-jerk approach to recovering some of your debt. And this, what they're saying is that they want to make sure they promote transparency, and it's just courtesy and fairness for customers. I think this is a step in the right direction, because gone are the days where you just take advantage of customers. The customers also have their rights, and we might have unforeseen circumstances for not meeting up to our loan obligations. So these are the conversations. When we come back on this short break, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a look at what is happening in the tech world. What is really happening in the tech world, especially with respect to Flutterwave, which is one of the unicorns we have in Africa. These are many more of the conversations we're going to be taking a look at when we come back on the short break. This is the Business Hour.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back. This is the Business Hour on VOP TV. Ladies and gentlemen, the Business Hour is not complete without taking a look at the industry giant, the unicorn we have in Africa, which is Flutterwave. What is really happening in the tech world? Court has ordered banks to unfreeze accounts in connection with 2.9 billion naira Flutterwave hack list last year. That's what is happening. And Lagos State Court orders unfreezing the account of freezing accounts that is linked to Flutterwave hack. So there was a particular hack that happened last year, and court has there's a court order that has told banks to unfreeze those accounts. And the legal battle continues following a 2.9 billion naira fraudulent transfer that happened in the shores of in the ecosystem, the financial ecosystem, especially in respect to Flutterwave. You can't really be a unicorn. You can't be controlling. You can't have a market valuation of $1 billion without having fraudulent issues across your bank statement. It's definitely going to be coming into place. You're so big, and the more the size of your company, the bigger the size of your company, the more you attract fraudsters. That's just how it works. So for every level, there's always a bigger devil. For every bigger level, there's always a bigger devil. And now the bigger devil at this point in time is to the tune of 2.9 billion naira. That was the massive fraud that took place. But now the court has said that a lot of the account that is linked to Flutterwave should be unfrozen. Let's see what is really happening. What is really happening as regards that? So the highlight challenges. The challenges is that it relates to cybersecurity and financial fraud. Meaning, as you're building in the tech ecosystem, you should also pay fundamental attention to cybersecurity, because you need to protect your cyberspace, especially if you're in the financial world. Even those outside the financial world, if you're operating beyond the financial sector, you need to make sure you have you checkmate your cyberspace, because at any point in time you might just fall prey to cyber criminals. We call them Yahoo. We call them G-boys. So you know what we're talking about. Cybersecurity threats are real, and it underscores the importance of protecting online information and transaction. We should all be vigilant. That's what I'm going to say. And take necessary precaution to safeguard our financial well-being in any sector, especially in this digital age. It's fundamental. It's something that, as a business person, you need to pay attention to. Moving on to what is happening in the market. Ladies and gentlemen, the Business Hour is not complete without taking a look at what is happening in the market. A lot of crypto investors are going to be interested in what we're doing at this point in time, because it's all green. The market is positive. It's so bullish. A lot of people are interested because it's a bullish day for a lot of investors in the market. This and many more are what we're going to take a look at in the market when we come back on this short break. This is the Business Hour.
Starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Business Hour on VOP TV. We're moving to the market segment. What is really happening in the market? You know, it's my favorite part of this show. And what I mean is, what is happening? What is the price of Bitcoin? Take a look at this. Just take a look at this. We can see it's all green. All green. All green along this line. All green. We can see the chart. Let's move on to Bitcoin. What is the price of Bitcoin? $50,000. $50,000, 114. That's the price of Bitcoin. In the last 24 hours, we've had 4% gain. The market really took it personal when a lot of artists, when Nigeria lost in the AFCON 2023. We can see that a lot of celebration happening in the market. What is really happening? The 4% gain and in the last 7 days, in the last 1 week, what that means is 10% gain. If you had invested 100,000 naira in Bitcoin as at this time last week, when I was talking about the market in the Business Hour, this time last week, you'd have had nothing less than 110,000 naira in your investment account or in your portfolio. That is what we're seeing literally on the chart. Moving on to the second kid in the block. Ethereum, 2,662 naira, $62. Why am I shouldn't be used to the naira. I shouldn't be used to the naira at all. $62. That's what is happening. That's the price of Ethereum. And we can see in the last 24 hours, 6% gain. The interest, the return on investment is even more than that of BTC, Bitcoin, which is the king in the block. And in the last 7 days, we've had 14% gain in the last 7 days. This is astronomical. These are exceptional performance in the market. Don't use this as what happens as the norm. Because if you use this as the norm, you might get your fingers burnt. I always tell you that whatever happens in the market is more or less against the norm, because it's an extremely volatile market. And for every volatile market, you have to make sure you are careful. You seek financial advice before investing in any asset class like that of cryptocurrency. Moving on to what we have as Tether. Tether is the is relatively what I love to call is a stable currency. And as a stable currency, we can see that Tether is sitting pretty at $1 level. $1 level. We can see the price of Theta sitting at $1 level, meaning it is paired against the dollar. And as it's paired against the dollar, it doesn't really move that much. Theta is more or less like a basic currency that you pair against the dollar. Moving on to the fourth most capitalized asset on our chart, we can see Solana. Solana is literally at the $114 level. It has found a support at that level. And as it has found a support on that level, it tells us that a lot is happening with that blockchain. 8.5% gain in the last 24 hours. Meaning, if you had invested 100,000 naira in Solana in the last 24 hours, you would have had 8,000 naira return on your investment in your portfolio. It's just as basic as that. But at the same time, when I tell you about the angel, I tell you about the devil as well. What that means is, if we had had a loss of 8% in Solana, you would have lost nothing less than 8,000 naira in your investment. That is what happens. It happens towards the positive side, or then also happens down south. That is what is happening in the market. Let's move on to the fifth most capitalized asset on the blockchain. We can see it over here. It's BNB. BNB, which is owned by CZ Binance. By the way, the investigation regarding CZ, as regards the founding the founder of Binance is being postponed to next year, to April. I beg your pardon, to April. So all those investigation is literally gonna happen in April as regards ties with a lot of fraudulent activities that is happening across board, because they are so massive. Let's move on to what is happening. And on the chart, BNB, $327. That's the price of BNB. And in the last 24 hours, we've had 2.8% gain. It's had the lowest return on investment in the last 24 hours. The growth rate, 2.8% amongst all of that. Because why? We see BTC is 4%. ETH, which is Ethereum, is 6.6%. Solana is 8%. So BNB is the lowest among the highest, most capitalized assets on our chart. What has happened to BNB in the last 7 days? 7.99%. These are decent numbers happening in the market, but you need to be careful. Trade with caution. Invest with caution. Seek financial advice before investing in any of these asset classes. XRP is the sixth most capitalized asset. What is the price of XRP? 50 cents. You know him as an artist, but right now he's reflecting on the chart of XRP. It's $0.5. That's the price. In the last 1 hour, we've had a loss in the last 1 hour. So when I tell you about losses, it's really not far in the market. It's what we're seeing. 0.5% loss in the last 24 hours, meaning your return on investment would have declined, would have been at a loss in the last 24 hours. And in the last 1 week, 0.01% loss in the last 1 week. These are the conversation. This is what is happening in the crypto market. If you see anybody with a trade cryptocurrency, be alarmed, because you can see it in the chart that it's massive. A lot of them are smiling to the bank, and a lot of crypto investors are making a truckload of money based on this chart. It's all green. Ladies and gentlemen, let us come to our native currency. What is happening to the Nigerian naira? Like I told you earlier on, when Burna Boy sang their song on the low, the Nigerian naira took it personal. Let's take a look at what is happening on the chart. You're going to see it live for yourself on the screen. Moving on to the Nigerian naira, we can see today is 13th of February, 2024, and we get all of this from an open source. It is what is happening live in the market. The price of the naira, the price of $1 to the naira is 1,517. That is what is happening. That is the price of the naira to the dollar. We've never had it this low. It's the lowest of low. You know when they tell you take your L and move on? I think it's high time Nigeria takes her L and move on. Move on to the good old days. That is what is happening to the price of the naira. The British pounds, 1,925. This one not even send anybody. It's just they near that 2,000 naira level. That is what the British pounds is doing. What is happening? We pray that the labors of our heroes past do not go in vain, because it's literally going in vain based on what we're seeing in the market. Moving on to euro, 1,644 naira to 1 euro. And for those of you who are looking at moving to Canada, because I know reports reaching me that that's the destination place for a lot of people that have been infected with the jackpot disease. That's where you guys are going to. But I'm going to tell you that before moving there or before going there, you're going to need nothing less than 1,110 naira for you to get 1 Canadian dollar. So invest wisely, jackpot wisely, know what you're doing before you leave the shores of this country. This is where we call it a wrap on the Business Hour. My name is Frank Fagbo. Ladies and gentlemen, you can catch me across all social media platforms at Fagbo Frank. Let's continue the conversation on your business, your money, and the economy. This is the Business Hour. The sports segment is definitely coming here. And so you don't want to go anywhere, because it's literally going to be an amazing time in the sports world.